All right. Hello, everyone. This is your host of Leadership, Legacies and Legends Unleashed, the podcast by Women of Help and Influence. We're so excited to be here. We've been away for a while because of XYZ reasons. We'll talk about that later. But I am so excited to be motivated to be here this morning, today, because we don't know where you are in the world, but we welcome you. Today, WOHI wants to just get back in the saddle and just run on with the call on our lives. I was talking to a dear person that I love and like, and she is a friend. I didn't want to tell you she's a friend, but she's a friend. I can't help it. But that's how we got there. But I look at her talking on the internet, and I look at other women going through what they're going through. I look at what I've been through, and now I'm feeling so good, but I was feeling so bad. So we'll have women's conversations. I'm going to cover everything from age, from friendships, from loneliness, from our mission as women, as senior women. Leadership Legacies and Legends Unleashed podcast can be found on your favorite listening sites. And also, we're launching some serious other level projects that we want you to tune in and make sure you get the heads up on how you can be a part of this movement of women talking, having great conversations about life and whatever is going on. My website is wohibymary.com. It's spelled WOHI by Mary.com. It's not woohee, it's woo-hi. We have some things coming, and I cannot wait to share them with you. So let's get down to business and let's introduce our beautiful guest. She is none other than the awesome and amazing Ann. Ann and I came together. We try to work, but we have so much fun when we're around each other that we enjoy each other's company, and we almost get some work done, or we might get some work done. So welcome to the 3LU podcast, the awesome and amazing Ann. So come on in here, Ann. Let's get this shared screen situation going, and welcome to Leadership, Legacies, and Legends Unleashed. How are you today?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I am blessed and highly favored and excited that we move on things. You know, we don't think about it. We move on things. So this was a blessing. Yes, we do. So as we were talking, I said to myself, Ian, we got to share this with the world because you are so transparent and so you that it's difficult for other people to just be themselves and embrace life, but you do. So tell us who you are and what do you do and how did you get started in that? And then we'll come to our friendship.
I run a radio station, Current FM, and I just, what can I say? God put something in my heart to say on Facebook, and I say, I'm not going to say that, and then I do. And the rest is history. And of course, you know, I love you. You're just a beautiful person, and you're doing such a great job with women.
Thank you.
And I'm glad to be a part of it in some small way.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thank you. All right. You started a radio station. You know, to us who are not in media, at least I wasn't in media for a lot of years, that sounds huge and unreachable. How in the world and what in the world connected you to set off a radio station and a Christian radio station?
Well, when I was 7 years old, I played radio. I did. I had a little record player, played radio, and I would go as I got older, you know, to the different sock hops, they called them then, and dances and things like that to see the DJ. I didn't care about the artist or the band. But women were not in radio. They were not allowed to be in radio back then until the 70s, like the end of 69 or something like that. But that was my desire. And then when I had the opportunity, I didn't want to do it because I was raising children, but I ended up doing it, and I was running the station, and then it just was given to us. So, and I have no clue. It's just something that has always been in my heart. I use that scripture delight yourself in the Lord and he will give you the desires of your heart. And that's what he did, because it was deep down inside of me for years. I love music. And Christian music is so uplifting. It touches so many people, but I love all music.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right. That is so wonderful that God brought it full circle. He knew that little girl's mindset. And then you did what a lot of women do. We have things that we dream of as young adults, little girls, little boys. We have dreams and goals. Then as we start living our lives, then we pivot because we're raising children, or this or that calls us left or right. And I love the fact of how parents sacrifice everything to put their whole focus on the new most important thing in their lives. Their husband, their children, the husband and the wife together, all that love and attention goes on that great gift from God called our children. And you said on Facebook, some of our senior citizens are kind of tired. Of just doing a certain routine, like that's their whole life. Talk about that. What made you say that?
Well, I got to thinking about my age, and I realized that I really don't have any people my age to talk to, because they're either in the house, they don't want to come out, they don't want to drive. I can't imagine giving up driving. I mean, really. And they don't want to, maybe they don't feel good, or they're keeping their grandchildren. And it was just kind of a revelation to me that I don't really have anyone to talk to, because I don't think old. I don't know if that makes any sense.
That makes sense. Makes sense. Don't think old.
I mean, no one wants to talk music with me. and they don't want to talk technology. And I love technology, because that's what I have to deal with at the station. Technology. I have to learn how to network computers and get things back online, and and I find it overwhelming, but I pray and God gives me a direction to go in. In fact, a friend of mine, when she went off of her satellite, dish, DirecTV, I think it was, and I talked her into getting a Roku. And she said, I don't know how to do any of this stuff. And I said, you just Google it.
You just Google it.
Yeah, that's what the techs do. I watch them when they come in, so I don't have to call them again, unless it's really big time. But you Google it. And she was so proud that she actually began to incorporate how to get things to work on a Roku and add things. And she felt, just really amazed about herself.
Wow.
Just give up. I mean, it looks overwhelming, but if you just take it step by step, we can do it.
Yes. That's so awesome that you said it's difficult to find people our age who want to do something or create something in different worlds that we're in different platforms. In my pink business, we got women of all age doing things they always wanted to do. But then when it comes to life in your circle and the people that you can reach, or that you know of, or that you have interactions with, many of them, it's almost like they go on different islands, and there's this great divide. And you can't, they don't want to talk music, they don't want to talk technology, and they don't want to talk music. That's
they don't want to talk fashion either. They were like retired.
Like tired. That was
retired.
I believe a lot of people are experiencing that, Ann. I believe a lot of people are experiencing that, because I always like to look at this wonderful morning show. I could give it kudos right now by naming it, but it's one or two morning shows I look at, and I get my coffee and I get my feel for the day to find out what's going on in the world and what people are talking about, and it settles me into the reality of the world that's going on outside. I'm content in my little house and with my family and my husband, but we got to check into the world, get ready to go.
Yes.
So she said 6% I think she said 60% of people today are lonely.
Oh, definitely.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes.
And it really got really bad during COVID. If I didn't have a parrot to talk to, I don't know what I would have done. My parrot talked to me. There were some days I didn't hear a human voice other than my husband's.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. That's true. That's true. And
Yeah.
so COVID was a very trying time for a lot of us. I know I was sick, bedridden
Oh,
most of the first year of COVID. Even surgery was put off because all the
oh
surgery
yeah.
had to go to sea with.
People you couldn't go to the dentist, you couldn't go to the doctor, you couldn't, and my sister, she's 13 years older than I am, she became ill and went into the hospital, and she died, but she was scared to death and we couldn't be there with her. You couldn't go into the hospital. It was so wrong.
Yes,
So wrong.
yes. The losses were tremendous because so many families, neighbors,
Yeah.
people you knew were touched by the loss of loved ones who actually passed on.
Yeah.
And that was dramatic and devastating to a
Now
lot. Like you said, your sister in the hospital. You wish
well,
you
she
could have
didn't
been
have
there.
COVID, but she had pneumonia and she
Mhm.
had the flu, and she just had those shots. It's
Mhm.
really weird.
Mhm.
And she got both of it,
Mhm.
and she died of that. And just nobody could be there, and they did not see who she really was. We had to call and storm the hospital by phone to
Uh-huh.
let them know who she was.
Mhm. Mm.
Yeah, it was a horrible time. And I
Yes.
lost two other friends, and it wasn't because of COVID. They had COVID, but
Mhm.
it was because of hospital neglect.
Hospital. Okay. Well, it was a very difficult time, and this conversation exchange,
Yeah.
Ian and I just having a conversation about WOHI women, talking about age, talking about life, talking about women, talking about our responsibility in our roles. So we're glad you're here with us, and we just wanted to just start a conversation. So we're really looking at our role as senior citizens and our lives as senior citizens.
Yeah.
So,
We're
Ian,
still alive. We're still alive. We still
praise
have
God.
life.
Praise God, we're still alive. After you and I talked this morning, I had the pleasure of going back to the hospital for more lab work, and I put on one of my favorite outfits,
Oh, cool.
a rainbow top and some black and white pants.
Nice.
It was like a Hawaiian top. It had
Uh-huh.
black and blue and everything in it, and I put on black and white pants. You know why I did that? It's because I like to dress up, and it
Yeah.
have to match, and I just felt so good after you and I talked. So let's go over to our friendship. So, Ann, you impressed me when you said how you felt when I walked into the prayer room when we were just getting ready to have a gathering of women praying. Tell me what you said, or can you remember what you thought when you saw me?
I just loved you. You lit up the room. I know this is crazy, but there's this woman on Frasier and her name is Miss Mary. They called her Miss Mary. I don't know if you've seen that show, but you reminded me of her so much, and I just loved her on that show.
Oh my
He
goodness.
hated her because she was so sweet and everybody loved her, and he just couldn't stand it because, Frasier was full of himself. But you just were you just had such a familiar kind of way about you. Like I knew you before I really knew you.
Mm-hmm. And that made me feel good when you said that, because we never know how we show up in the lives of people. When I walked in that room and we began to meet everybody and everybody was introducing themselves, you had such a pleasant, loving, welcoming smile on your face as you looked at me like you knew me too. And you and I, whenever we were talking like sisters and friends.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, it was our turn to go have lunch together. And
yeah, we were supposed to pray. I don't know if we ever did.
we did pray over the food.
You had so much fun.
It was like when we were together out for lunch. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, when we went to lunch, Ann and I, we're not going to name the restaurant, but we were in the wrong line. We're in the pickup line where people pick up their food. She picked the place. And then number two, we just had a great conversation that just flowed. We just enjoyed each other's company. Yeah. And what happened after that? Instead of us working and planning something, what did we do? Do you remember?
We took pictures.
We definitely took pictures.
And it was windy.
Did we go in that store around the corner?
Yeah, you went to the Michael's store.
You didn't go.
I didn't go.
It was so much fun in there. It was the biggest store I had seen. I walked all over that store, and you and I had so much fun. I thought you were with me. You know, I said, we had a great day. But I walked around the block to that store, and we just had a ball. It was nice. It was nice.
Just so you know, I enticed Mary to go to the place where we went to eat because of the Michael's store.
And as for me, I love to hit the road. I love to be in my car. I love to be with people. And so I didn't know how much I wanted to be with people.
Yeah.
Until I was able to get out and be among people. In fact, walking was a big deal because I had extreme pain learning to walk again.
Right.
Being bedridden for so long. And so I was just like a kid in a candy store, being able to go somewhere, see people. So Ann and I connected, you all, and we had a great, we've started a great friendship. We chit-chatted, we talked. Ann, you ministered to me gently and didn't even know you were healing my heart when we both had shared a dramatic experience in life where you have a betrayal, like Judas or like Peter, you know, when something hits you blindsided. And then you spoke into my heart and you told me this one thing. Do you remember what you told me about praying for that person?
Oh, yeah. Well, I had a betrayal and I went to a friend. She gave me some advice and she had come out of a bad marriage. And she said, the Lord told her to start praying for her ugly husband, you know, her ex-husband who was abusive. And she did. She said, I can't pray for him, but she did anyway. And she said, you don't feel anything at first, but you just keep doing it. And all of a sudden you realize that you do care whether this person lives or dies. You don't want him in your life, but you know, you pray and you do care.
Yeah.
And when you know you have forgiven that person.
Yeah. And I did that because I'm not used to, in my habit of working to please God with my life. I come across sometimes as very naive, and I come across like, my husband gave me this card, y'all. I'm not going to show you my card. My husband gave me many years ago, but this card was so special to me because he spoke to my spirit. He spoke to my ability, my desire to dream wonderful dreams, believe in people, believe in the good side.
Nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. I've been told I'm naive too, and I'll take it.
Yes. You hold on to your joy and your childlike belief that everything that God said is going to come to pass. And
were you going to read that card?
I don't know. I'm not going to read this good. He did say something like, to the dreamer who wishes on pennies and candles. And then down the bottom, it goes on to say, to the believer in you who never gives up, who radiates hope. And
you do that. You definitely do that.
And for someone to see through you like that, you know. Now, here, let's go down another tunnel. That's your spirit and your personality is a reason that some people don't like us. Don't like you, don't like me. You run into people who are in your circle who hate you for the same reason people love you. Talk on that for a second.
That's true. And I think you run into people that actually might see themselves in you, so they don't like that part of themselves. And then they sort of use you as an example of what they don't like. And I'm dealing with that in a sense that there's someone that irritates me, and I realize that it has to do with my family, you know, and what I didn't like about my family. So I've got to pray about that.
Ah,
Not their
ah.
fault.
Yeah. And it's these hidden emotions that we have, the driving underlayer of why we feel like we feel. And
Yeah,
that's the same thing in other people. So that's why I really work hard to live God's word. And he says forgive, then that means I better forgive.
yeah,
But
yeah,
heal, you helped me heal when we talked on that. And I began to, because some people say when you're suffering and when you're going through drama and trauma, they say you're bleeding all over the place. But if you don't have a circle where you can get that stuff out, so
yeah.
your mind is like called a mind dump. If you don't get some of these limited thinkings, hang-ups, burdens, uh, things that have attacked your spirit, if you don't
Right.
exit them out of your soul and out of your space, you do walk around almost broken and bleeding without saying a word.
I didn't even know you were going through that. You don't let anybody know that. She's so cheerful all the time.
Well, I was shocked. My mind was shocked. My mind was shocked. But I try not to give it energy. And I did learn something when I went to a thing on aging. Don't worry about that. This is just us girls talking.
I just knocked something off the desk.
Oh, no problem. You should have heard my little puppy. He likes to dig into the carpet and just I just let him be himself because I love the imperfections of self. That's
Yeah.
why if I'm doing a video and at the end I catch the ceiling and all that stuff, I want people to know you don't have to be perfect to
That's good because
show
I'm not.
up.
Believe me.
Show up. Just try to show up. So you were very good for that, and we have some funny little things we'd be talking about too. And this is the thing about having someone who you just enjoy in your company. You enjoy that relationship, and as you build and grow the friendship, next thing you know, you're like-minded under the anointing, and you feel safe because people want to feel safe. People want to feel like they can have a decent, conversation with someone who's not like a wolf in sheep's clothing, just waiting for the moment for you to make a mistake so I can.
Oh, I hate that. I like real people.
You're like, what?
Real people. Just be
Really?
real.
That's why the wolf was in sheep's clothing. You can't get in certain circles unless he be 10, he's something else. So that happens to our children. That happens to our young adults when they're trying to find their way in the world. It happens to them on the job. It happens to them in school. And so women, they go through a lot of unique experiences and it changes who they are. And
Right.
that 60% lonely thing becomes a different personality as a defense mechanism.
Right. But I think that women sometimes were our own worst enemy.
Yes, ma'am.
I had a really good friend, and she's still a good friend, although she moved away. And she worked for me. And she was working from home a lot, which was fine. She was doing, her job and everything. And somehow or another, because we weren't connecting, she thought I put something on Facebook that had something to do with her. I thought she put something on Facebook that had something to do with me. And we got really upset with each other. And we decided to go meet. And so we, Starbucks is right next door. So we said, let's just meet at Starbucks and have a talk about this. And once we saw each other, we said, we're so stupid.
Social media.
We're just being foolish. And we both said, let's not ever have that happen again. I mean, it was all overthinking we were doing.
And it's almost like out of the billions of people, they're talking to me.
Yeah.
That's why
we overthought that we had a problem with each other, and we didn't. The enemy can come in and he can really divide when you're not connecting.
Right.
So we, that was just a real funny memory because when we saw each other, we looked at each other and we felt really stupid and hugged.
That's a cute story. All right. So women our age. I don't mind telling my age, but most people say don't. What do you think about sharing your age?
I'm 77.
I
I'll be 78 in September. That's just around the corner.
and I share my
Frankie
age.
Valley just got married at 89 years old. Frankie Valley of the Four Seasons. I mean, so we have a little way to go.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And we have, life is not over just because you hit a certain age. I call that living in a box.
Right. Yeah.
But at 71, which I wanted to share my age, I share that because some way, somehow, I'm trying to let the person know that I'm talking to is I sincerely want to impact your life. I sincerely want to bless your life. I have no agenda. I just saw that you were a talented, gifted person who could use something that I know of. So that's why WOHI connects people, services, and opportunities.
Well, what's bad is what I see with women is, and I see women younger than me. They're in their 60s, but when they became in their 50s, which is not that old anymore,
Right.
They let themselves, like, they don't color their hair anymore. They don't want to wear makeup. And I'm thinking, why are you doing that? I mean, do the best with what you have and keep going. Yes, my knees hurt, but they kind of hurt when I was younger too.
Yeah.
They hurt a little bit more now, but I'm still going to go. I'm still going to the store and buy clothes. I'm still going to go to different places and have a good time. And, I'm going to drive. I just talked to a guy today, an old friend, who is 88 years old, and he's given up driving. I just can't imagine giving up driving. Oh my gosh.
Unless there's a health issue.
He doesn't have one. He just doesn't want to drive anymore.
Well, you know what? With these new car services, I feel like a queen. You know why? Because when I travel, I like to be on time for meetings and events that I travel to. It's almost like, why would you go to that event and be late? So when I start showing up late, it's because I have underestimated the changing traffic, distance, time, and all like that. So it's not my natural to be late, but I be late sometimes. But I thank God that I got there. So now with the driving services, you can go anywhere you want, stay anywhere you want, and you can call your car, like you have a personal car driver, and says, pick me up at so-and-so time, and then pick me up here at so-and-so time, and you don't have to worry about the car, but that's when you're traveling. So when you're living near home, you got those same car services, and if you don't want to drive, you still don't have to stay home.
Well, I like to be able to do what I want to do in my car, listen to what I want to listen to. There's always something on, and do what I want to do. And, I don't know how I'd feel about having somebody else drive me. I hate when I take my car in to have the work done on it and they give me the courtesy drive home.
Yeah.
Or to the station, And, you're stuck with somebody else's music. You're stuck with their conversation. You have to keep conversation with them. And I guess in a way, I kind of am a loner. I thought about that when I put that up on Facebook the other day. I seem to do everything alone,
The good part of that is what?
I'm at peace with myself, I guess.
Praise the Lord. Eagles don't flock, is what I've heard, because you got somewhere to go and something to do, and you're not waiting for anyone to give you that permission. I was telling you the story about Michael Jackson when I was young, coming to town doing his first concert, and how older women mindset ministered into my life. So I was a young woman, and in fact, I was a new business owner, matter of fact, and I wanted to go see this concert. I also work 11 to 7. So on one hand, my mother brought me up to make sure you got that dime or that quarter in your pocket in case you go out and things don't work like you want to. You'll be able to leave that situation and get yourself to a phone, and we'll come and get you. And then my mother, I have a second mother, a second family. I have all these beautiful people. I love this lady. Both of them have gone on to heaven. She said, Why are you waiting for someone to go to the concert with you? You're a working woman. You can go to the concert
right.
and then take yourself to work and get on home the next day and start all over. So there were two different opinions, but I took that to the bank and ran with it. And I enjoyed myself. And I knew that leave when the crowd is leaving. You know, like if 10 people are leaving, leave with them.
Yeah.
But don't leave by yourself. So you got to be wise. So that's some of the things we want to minister in the lives of some of our sisters, that we're rallying y'all. We call y'all. We're looking for our senior citizens, and we're looking for our senior sisters who want to get unstuck, if you consider yourself stuck.
That's it, unstuck.
In a box, because we live in a box of what some people think we should do. And then we live in that thought when
that's really
not
true. Us. That is so true. You're putting it right there. What people think a 77 or 71-year-old person should be doing. Mm-hmm. And it may not be what we want to do.
Right, because you were on this track to do this project and that project, go to this country, go to that country. You know, I saw something that really motivated me. It was a 76-year-old lady on one of the competitive sports shows on TV. She was 76 and swinging from all of these ropes and things and running and jumping. What do you think of that?
That's amazing. And that gives me incentive. You know, maybe I should start working out. That's something we need to do, work out.
Okay. That's right.
But they have some really cool exercises that you can do by, you know, actually using the wall in your house instead of, like, if you have bad knees, instead of doing the squat, you can do them against the wall in your house. It's really neat. I've seen it on Facebook anyway.
Well, we're planting ideas in our heads and in the minds and the ears of people that are going to listen to this episode when it premieres, because we're pre-recording, as I always do, and we're going to premiere this episode, and we really want to get the daughters to get their mothers and their sisters, their grannies and their aunties out to listen to just a different way of thinking, or some ideas from sisters of the same age circle.
Right.
So here's something I wanted to see. We could talk about children. We could talk about husbands. Let's talk about our husbands real quick. And you want a DOG. Tell us about the husband's men's circle that made him come on board with thinking about helping you with that DOG.
Well, he doesn't really want a dog, but he actually gave in, and he bought some. He's a ham radio operator, so he bought some equipment, and he had said, you know, if you want a dog, you know, it'll be up to you to get it. But then after he bought this ham radio equipment, he said, I guess I should chip in for the dog, because we have like a, you know, if you buy something, I get to buy something, that kind of thing. You know?
Oh, nice arrangement. Like that.
Yeah. Yeah, we look after each other.
Isn't that love? That's beautiful. And so that's a prayer.
57 years. Tuesday. When is the 3rd?
The 3rd is sometime next week.
Monday, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That's our anniversary.
Oh my! And I got to meet Ann's husband when I went over to her home, and he was sitting there, and we were launching a new project. And
everybody loves him.
I think charming. My husband, I love him to pieces as well, and he's a.
I'd love to meet him. I want to meet him.
You will. I just love him to pieces. He's a good man. And he's one of my whys now, because once upon a time it was the children, but now we're seniors and we want to really take care of each other.
Yeah.
You know, let's talk about parenting. Women will give, parents will give the shirt off their back for their children. Tell us a story. Tell me a story about your children. Where you've given the shirt off your back, or you put something off because it was more important you be there for them.
Oh, well, I went back to college, and I saw, as I was really getting into it, I was going to be a nurse, believe it or not, but that wasn't what God wanted me to do. And as I was, you know, they demand so much of your time to be a nurse, and it was, you know, the registered nurse, which is at that time, years ago. So I looked at my children and I began to see them get that empty look in their eyes, and so I quit. I gave it up for them.
Yeah.
One of them had cut their head open by running into somebody's boat on a trailer. It was just sitting in a yard. And I went in the ambulance with them, and I just thought, I can't do this to my kids. And I don't regret it.
There you go. We don't,
because it wasn't what God wanted me to do. He flipped me to radio, so I took them with me.
Yeah, I took my children.
They grew up with radio.
Beautiful. And now they're all adults.
And they all love radio.
Wow, love that. Let me share one about my mothering journey.
Yes.
Let me tell you. First, I thought of my mom all of a sudden when on Sunday nights we would have a bag of vanilla wafers, and my parents would take care of not only us, but anybody else, sisters, brothers, children. They would take care of any and everybody. So we always had a big full house, and we grew up like sisters and brothers. And it was a big deal to have 10 vanilla wafers, and then 5 vanilla wafers, and then 2 vanilla wafers, and then 1. And it was such a celebration. So I think about that sacrifice of, you may not have all the money in the world, but you want time in the world with your children. So one thing that comes up with me is, there is nothing, as my children were growing on their journey, that I would not do for them. And if I had a bill due and they had something due, I would juggle my money and help them, because they're trying to get through school. They're trying to get on their goals, trying to get on with their lives. And one generation of children, and as I was being blessed by the Lord, had 6 living grandparents at one time.
Wow.
That was my parents, his parents, their parents.
Wow.
And that's something. That's 6 living grandparents. So they had a lot of love and royalty around them. They couldn't want for anything. They had love of all.
That's really nice.
But then the second generation, because as a senior, your next generation has an older parent. They didn't have all of that. So the sacrifice, you helped to support them just like you were supported, and your first generation of children were supported, and there's just nothing you will not do for them. All right, let's talk about another topic, because I just wanted to get some topics out there, because we're looking for our sisters, our seniors, our mothers, our daughters, because they become people.
Right.
You become people too. And sometimes people don't believe or know how to not see you as a thing called a mama or a dad.
Yeah.
They don't see
I'm everybody's mom.
Yeah, right.
Everybody says, you're just like my mom. And I'm thinking, I'd rather be like your sister,
Okay, I see what you're saying. Now, see, I had that when I was the PTA mom of everything for everybody's children.
Yeah.
Because their mothers were working and they couldn't be home.
I did that too.
Direct sales. And so I did that to be present in my children's lives. And
I did that. Yeah. I had all the kids at my house because when I worked marketing research, so I could do it from my house. That's surveys and polls and focus groups. And we did that at night, but all the kids would be at my house because their parents were working.
Their parents were working. And so there are many options for bringing up children today, but the sacrifice of a parent is just no words for it.
I know.
I appreciate you sharing that, because we live in this journey. We also see the stages of their lives, like the hard brick walls they can hit when they leave home.
Oh, it's well, when you take your child when they're young to the dentist, it's worse than you going to the dentist. And I hate dentists. I mean, my dentist was, he has buildings all over the place, Conocoff, and that's when he first started out. And I drove him so crazy. He came out of the treatment room because my son was back there. And I'd go to the window and say, how's he doing? How's he doing? And he brought me a Walkman with Burt Bacharach on it, which he didn't realize that's really one of my favorite, people, Burt Bacharach music. And he said, here, Ann, just sit down and listen to this.
Oh, please, mama, get out the way. That's you.
Yes.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. Oh, what about the
But it's like you go rather than your
soul
child.
is wrapped around them getting a toenail stomp. You know, like God says,
Yeah,
not stumble your foot to be moved. Let your baby, we're his babies. He loved us and we love those children the same way.
that's it. Yeah, God, that's the way God feels. Yes.
Yeah. There's so much we could talk about, but we're stirring the pot
Yeah.
about the conversations and the things we want to do to reach into the lives of women around us. Okay, babe. Okay. That my hubby. That my hubby.
Yeah. Yeah. I have to order Chinese food when we're through.
Oh my. Oh,
He's waiting on that.
we eat early. We eat early because it's just one of those things where food got to go so that we can go to sleep and get on to the next day instead of sometimes episodes where you just don't want to know. But this man of mine, you know, he's there where no one else can he can do things that no one else can do.
My husband too.
We're
blessed. We are blessed.
We are so blessed, and we want to minister to the women. We want to just send our love to the women who maybe have had relationships that worked or marriages that ended, and trauma and drama. Don't think God forgot you, ladies. God got you, and we know men because our men are our sons and our husbands and our brothers. So things happen, but right now we're talking to our women. But I do want you to know, with one of the things that put me in the bed back in the early 2020, I still have episodes now, and my husband and my son and my daughter, my God, when one of those episodes hit, I cannot scream. I cannot holler out and call him. I learned to keep the phone with me, because it's like whatever them guts start trying to do, they just go, what? I don't like you. And it's like they're having a fight and they're doing all this. Yeah. And it's so painful. That's why I eat certain ways so that won't happen. But he knows to bring me an ice pack. Let me lay in my pain until that pain passes. And then my son, he was the one who said, the doctor said, if that ever happens again while she's on risky time trying to get this surgery done, make sure you take her back to the hospital. So see, when you love one another as a family, you need them, they're there for you.
Right.
When they need you, you're going to be there for them anyway. But I thought that was extremely special because people don't know the value of friendships and relationships.
Yeah.
When you have no one to check on you,
that's
or to
right.
know how you're doing, those valuable, sincere, honest friendships matter.
Yes, they do. They do. And there are women that don't have anybody.
There are women who do not have sincere and true friends in their life. They have maybe wolves in sheep clothing, or they have no one.
But now, I have two friends who are newly widowed. One was widowed. I've known her since we lived next door to each other. She had girls. She had two girls. I had three boys. It's just funny. We were the only two houses on the corner, and girls to the left, boys to the right. And her husband is one of my friends that died because of neglect in the hospital. And then another friend, but she moved to Tennessee. Now my other friend, she was doing great. They moved to North Carolina, and her husband fell down the stairs early in the morning and broke areas in his spine to where he couldn't recover. And he lived for 2 days and died. These are such strong women, but they have very strong churches that are taking care of them. Yes. And you don't see that much anymore. I don't see that here in this area.
Right.
These women rallied around the widows and got them through the bad times. And I will text, like one of them I text almost every day, so she knows people care. And the other one we talk, quite frequently. But that was such a shock because both of them had just moved to new areas. And there they are with nobody. So they thought, but they have strong churches.
Yeah, yeah. So that's one of the, I guess, missions of this connectivity that we're launching. We'll have
Yeah,
women talking and having conversations about health, family, relationships, friendships, etc. We're launching something here,
yeah.
this series. I want to, as we start to move to a close, there was something that, as I was asking God, how to create this, how to handle this storm, because when He gives me a blueprint for a project or a series of connecting parts, I see it and I see the end. It's like called downloads. God gives you downloads, blueprints for how to manifest what He's the idea in the whole project. And I've been like that all my life, and I don't reject it anymore. I receive it. So 1 Timothy 5:2 talks about how you're supposed to treat older women.
Mhm.
I love that. It was saying, treat older women as you would your mother, and treat older women as you would your mother, and treat your younger women with all purity as you would your own sister. That is God's word, but there's a lot of breakdown in families,
Yeah,
relationships that need healing, but also some, like when in the Bible where He said, you and your family go, don't take nobody with you, and
yeah,
don't look back. There are things that happens in families sometimes that really deserve a serious conversation. And some areas of conversation
yeah.
you can't go in alone because you won't come out better for it. That's where help needs to come in, professional help, if some healings are to take place. Any comment
Well,
on that?
that's true. I came from a dysfunctional family, but somewhere down the road, I had to learn that to take responsibility, not blame them for everything.
Mm-hmm.
And God He kind of isolated me and put me through a internal class. I lost friends. I I watched Christian TV 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
I just and then he threw me back out.
Oh, you're back out.
and um and all of that anger and it all disappeared. And
Wow. A healing.
yeah,
God healed His baby.
yeah. So not everybody had those really nice vanilla wafer nights like you did,
Now let me tell you,
Yeah,
when we're young and naive, there are things that can happen on your journey of life.
yeah,
God just puts a sugar coating over your eyes so that you don't really receive it that way. But I
yeah.
know I cried a lot as a young girl because everything hurt my feelings.
Oh,
Everything hurt my feelings. I didn't, like you can wear anything of mine because I don't value things. I value people. So
mhm.
when I would ask to wear something and it belonged to someone else, and I got a no, I was shocked, devastated, and I'd go cry until my nose bled. So I was so sensitive as a child, and some
Yeah,
people don't can't even relate to that because of who I am now. It's like God heals you and covers you,
yeah,
wraps you up in His loving arms. So it's a good thing that God is doing with each of His people. And so right now, His
yeah,
people say, let's go help some people. That's you. We
yeah,
go help some people. Psalm 71:18. Do not forsake me, oh God, until I declare. It's talking about when you're old and gray. The prayer of this old woman is, Lord, don't forsake me even when I get old, because I got your work to do and I want to fulfill that. And I
yeah.
thought that was cool. Any other scripture come to your mind when older women look out for younger women? What's that one? Our assignment.
I'm not a teacher. I know it's in the Bible, and I can
Mhm.
tell, and I can paraphrase it.
Oh, well, guess what?
But
Google. I went to
yeah,
Google and I got it. I
yeah,
said, God, I went to Google and I said, what's that scripture about older women look out for young women? That's how I got it. So please don't think I'm
oh,
a blueprint
good.
either. My children told me, Mom, you need this. Google it.
Yeah, Google it. Yeah,
Google.
I do. I just don't have the Google
Oh,
with me right
okay.
now.
So we're
But there's a lot of scriptures,
mhm,
well, like Caleb, he was older when God began to use him. So that's an example that we, as long as we're breathing, God can still use us.
Yes, old or young. Old or
Right.
young. So this has been a pleasure, just hitting on some little topics and all, because there's so much more we can talk about. Because it was just sharing a friendship and a relationship with Ann and showcasing who this phenomenal woman is and how her words minister to my heart and how my presence ministers to her life. And
Yes.
we just share a little bit about our husbands because it's our mindset that God has blessed us with these great men who are not perfect. Not that they don't ever make you upset or mad or this or that. Have you ever got mad at husband? I only need to ask you that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
but you know, he gets disappointed with us too, but he still loves us.
right. And we don't get upset for but about 5 or 10 minutes. That's it.
And sometimes you get upset and it's not even their fault. You're just displacing it.
You're so right. You're so right. You're so right. And so we just want women to know there is something out there for them. I searched these scriptures, Titus woman, where we have a mandate to minister to the young. And remember, I Googled it because I didn't know where to find it in the Bible.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of things coming your way, ladies and gentlemen, because
yeah,
Anne is in her lane and she's loving it and she's seeking to spread her wings and enjoy life and find her network of sisterhood. And we found each other and we barely get any work done, y'all. I'm telling you, it's the truth. When Ann and I get together, we barely get any work done. But this is work. This is work, ministering and reaching out to sisters and grandmamas and young women and people who are going through maybe because of age. So we're singling out to women of age. And we just wanted to share this as an example of how her gifts are going to create something wonderful. My gifts are going to create something wonderful. And I just wanted to share perspective of women's relationships, having been inspired by Ann's transparent post on social media.
Oh gosh.
It was so transparent. I said, do I have the courage to say and do that? But I think I do. And I think I say it all the time. But I rejoice in my imperfections.
You know what's funny is I would come into church and my pastor would always preach about don't put all this stuff on social media, blah, blah, blah. But I'd walk into church and these people would grab my arm and take me aside and say, I love what you put on social media. I don't have the guts to do it, you know. And I think I'm not going to do it anymore. And then it just bubbles up and I feel like God wants me to do it. So that's the way it is.
All right, let's talk social media for a minute. We got a minute more. You know, we could talk a good while, y'all, but we don't want y'all to miss a thing. Social media during COVID connected families who could not see each other from across the world. You have private spaces on social media and you have public spaces.
Yeah.
You have wolves, bears, and lions on social media, and you have them walking in your house, in your door of your business, and in your life, in your friendship circle, your trusted circle. And so we must learn to get up the horse and buggy and start driving motorized cars.
Yeah.
Social media is a new way of connecting to your clients, your family, your friends, and the people who need what you have to offer. You have a radio station. How many millions of lives are blessed by that?
Well, you know, it's real funny. I would think a lot, but God is so good because when I first began, you know, running the station and when it was ours, and I was driving down the road and I was feeling really hot, you know, really hot. I had a new car and not because of the station, but that's, I just had a new car. And then I had a Starbucks in my hand and I thought, this is really cool. I am like the general manager of the station and, you know, I'm hot stuff now. And I hit this bump in the road. The Starbucks went all over me. And I said, okay, I get it, God. And so God is really good when we feel like, for all of us, when we feel like are we really touching anybody when we feel discouraged? Then God will bring these people to us to show us, but we don't see it all the time because we're not supposed to be proud. You know what I mean? We're not supposed to get how do you say it?
Puffed up.
Just into ourselves, like we did this. It's all
pride.
That's it. Yeah. So I always remember that Starbucks that went all over me in the new car, went all over the new car, the seat, my clothes, and that's just a reminder, that it's God's station, and He's the one doing the work, and we know that people are getting blessed, but we don't always see it, and we don't need to, and unless we're tired and discouraged, and then He brings them forward.
Right. Wow, that was beautiful. That was beautiful. I was guilty of maybe the opposite. I've been a backup singer or a backup supporter of any and everybody that came in my path. I did not want the spotlight. I just wanted to create this wonderful platform to elevate their mission or their cause or their dream, or launch them in business, or launch lives. Like, that's all I wanted. Didn't want the spotlight. So what I noticed was, in doing that, I'm dishonoring God by not doing what He called me to do, taking the host role of Leadership, Legacies, and Legends. That was my war cry to women. I think I was on a verge of giving up on working to create something that I saw. I don't have to define it or understand it, but when God calls you to do something, He got a plan. But when you think you're part of the plan, He'll remove you and He'll get someone else to do it. So the rocks will crowd if you don't crowd. He will get someone to serve His vision for our lives and remove us. So I noticed that if you fly too low, that when you really fly too low, you might run into a mountain and it could take you out.
That's true. I think, there are a lot of awards, people win a lot of awards. I see the same people winning awards every year for ministry or something. And I really could care less about that. I want the reward to be that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And I think it's good that you're doing what you're doing and taking a hold of it, but you're not doing it in a selfish manner. You know what I mean? Like this is all about me. You've got the flag waving. Look what I did. And I think God honors a certain amount of humbleness, not that you should be hiding, but
hiding in plain sight.
I mean, there are some of us that are good to work behind the camera, We're content.
Behind other people's lives. So now I know God got something for us to say, something for us to do, and an impact we are to use the voice He gave us, and not just elevating others, because He doesn't want you to go on a cruise and starve while the cruise He prepared for you, a banquet. He wants you to eat too.
Yeah.
So don't forget, ladies in the audience, please don't forget to eat too. Don't forget that God takes great pleasure in the prosperity of His servants. And prosperity can be in health, in finances, in houses and land, in how you impact others' lives. So, and anything else you want to say before I start my closing on the episode? Anything else you want to say?
Oh, just remember it's Him in charge. And, when we hit these, I have a friend that just went through a lot to get to a funeral in Scotland. And she had 4 days of trying to get a plane. And she missed the funeral. But I have to believe when stuff like that happens, God is in the middle of it. There's a reason. And our first thing is to gripe about it and everything. And I'm the biggest one that'll do that. But I have to believe that we maybe should quit doing that and look for the God moment in the situation.
Yes, the God moment.
Yeah, because I think when you look back after all the emotional time of being angry and you finally get to where you're going, you look back and you realize, well, God was right in the middle of all this and I missed it. because I was so busy being
Amen.
upset about it.
Wow, let go and let God. You made me think of like my health issue hit late 2019, and I had to get that inflammation down so I could have surgery, which was early
Yeah.
2020. And I remember when it hit, and of course I could name it, but I choose not to because people go through different
Right.
things, and you don't need to just say it was that,
Yeah.
it was that, but it's a situation that you may be going through. And when only my son and I were home, my husband was in Puerto Rico, and I ended up going in the hospital around 6, and by 2 a.m. It heads up on what was going on. They figured out what was going on. And my husband, I said, it's time. The children said, it's time to call daddy. And I said, no, let's call pastor first because we need to hand this over to God because whatever God has for us as a family and me, he got this. So we called the pastor, I think 2 a.m. in the morning, and he prayed. I needed him to pray for us, our bishop. And then we called daddy.
Yeah.
Told him, even in that severe pain, don't try to even come home because God is here, he's there too. So if God is with us and you're going to, just try to ride him down the mountains, get a flight, all that trauma, all that human drama, all that human rescue stuff we try to do, it would be too risque even on his life and stress him. So by the grace of God, and I learned this from some of my mentors in my pink business journey, do what you can do where you are. Trust that God got it. So we stayed in touch and we talked and everything, and God got me out of that hospital. After 17 days in ICU, God got me out.
Wow.
So that's like trusting God that he'll bring you through whatever. And this human flesh that wants to get in God's way and say, no, God, hold up, I'll go do this.
Yeah.
Show us in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
That he got this, and it's up to us to trust him and acknowledge him in all things. So this coming together has been Ann and Mary just sharing our relationship as women of age, of women with purpose and a desire to make a difference in our lives. What will we do? So as I get ready to say goodbye to Ann, you can stay on camera as long as you want. As I get ready to close out, I want to say to my audience, we're so grateful that Ann and I have this type of connection, but we're also grateful that we know that God does not bring us together for no reason.
That's it.
There are too many people out there that need friendships, relationships, support, help. And then there are people who want to live their lives, but they don't know what their lives look like anymore because they've given so much of themselves to others. But no matter what's happening in your life, I believe that there are doorways that are opening for you. There are opportunities that are knocking, that you don't have to live in a box, that you can reconnect to who God called you to be. Women of Help and Influence, that's the owner of Leadership Legacies and Legends, and we have a parent company, MHF Enterprises. We're getting ready to pull together our senior women. We're going to pull together Unstoppable Women, because I have a project called Unstoppable, and that's one of my elite programs. And that cost is from $1,000 to $5,000. I have another program that we're launching that's coming up fall of 2023, right around the first week of November. All my Unstoppable Women must be in place. All of my women and friends and associates and followers, see, we call them followers on social media because there's somebody who's interested in what you're seeing and what you're doing. And you call your radio guests what? Listeners?
Yes, listeners. Well, partners, listeners.
Okay. And so we're building a community and we're building a tribe. We're going to launch our book club. We're going to launch our 5 o'clock club. We're going to launch our quarterly or bi-monthly event so that we can give you somewhere to go, something to do. Some will be live, some will be virtual. But just like Ann and I love to just get together and maybe have lunch, and I want to walk the big fun stores with her and just chit
Yeah.
chat and laugh. And she's a shopper to her heart. I bought these hats in the other day. I bought this straw hat. I intentionally went to spend a few pennies, not a lot of money, because I have so many things I have to clean up. And I walked in this place and I saw this hat. It won't but a few pennies. $2.
Oh, wow.
I bought every one. I bought every one because I said I'm gonna have a blue one, a pink one, a red one, a this and a that. I love that hat. And so that's why I bought it, because I cannot find a hat to fit my head. The hat must come down here. So the head's kind of big when you. And then I went out today and found another hat.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't buy it because I said I'm disciplined. I'm disciplined. I'm going to stay on my financial goals path, and I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do. So anyway, we want to.
So you're going to go back and get the hat tomorrow, right?
I got to finish my goals. I'm learning budgeting, discipline, and things like don't spend money when you didn't plan to spend it. But that hat is beautiful, and I can't wait to go back and get it when I say I can buy it. Okay, so we're getting ready to open up the door to do some fantastic things so that we can fellowship with one another, so we can have our partners, and we can have our WOHI, and we can have a mentorship for the tightest woman, a platform for educating our young adults, single moms.
Yeah.
And going through divorce, grandmas, your auntie, because we need each other. We don't want to be lonely on this earth. We want to impact the earth with the goodness of God and great relationships and friendships and successful businesses and dreams and goals of that nature. So we're going to promote the coming of this premiere of this episode. We're also going to promote the coming of those other events that you can be a part of. Tell your auntie, tell your mama, tell your friend, tell your new girlfriend, like Ann that I just met. There you go. See, I'm gonna let you know which way to go. And Ann, how long we been together?
I don't know.
A couple of years, 2, 3, going on 3 years, probably something like that.
4 years, yeah.
But oh my goodness, it's good to have good people in your life. I mean, it's good to have someone, that you can just, hey, girl.
Yeah.
Definitely. And just exhale and breathe. I mean, you don't have to work all your life. You don't have to be alone all your life. You don't have to do 24/7 work. So this has been Leadership Legacies and Legends Unleashed, the podcast hosted by Mary Haswood Fernandez with our phenomenal Ann Verebely. She is a delightful person, and I wanted to start this journey with you ladies, with my friend Ann, so that you can get a taste of what it's like not to be lonely. I do love my quiet house when it's quiet time. And you love your little bird.
Yes, I do.
My little puppy.
Little parrot.
But there's times when you need a circle, a community. So we thank you. Closing remarks, Ann, to our audience.
Oh, just love each other and be there for each other.
Mm-hmm. And trust in the Lord with all your heart and soul, and lean not on understanding. God is a good God. He's my Father who art in heaven. And we got so much more to talk about. But thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel, because Leadership Legacies and Legends is back. I've been quiet for a while, but my voice is back. My joy is back. My goals and dreams are on fire.
Good.
Thank God for the influence of my friend Ann. And there's so many people who need people. And I just wanted to share my friend Ann with you and some of the things we talk about and some of the things we enjoy. Love you, Ann.
Love you too.
God bless you, our new WOHI community and Christian radio station listeners and partners. We got work to do. So look for our invitation. We're coming looking for you. And we want to make sure you can find us. So that's it, everybody. Signing off. Leadership Legacies and Legends. Bye-bye.